it is Vlogmas day 20. I can't believe it. And all the snow is basically gone in Oregon. It rained a bunch last night, and so it melted away all the snow. But I'm just headed to work again. I'm really hoping today is like a good, not easy, because work is never easy, but I'm really hoping that it's a really nice day at work. So we'll see. I think I'm gonna do this one, just one vlog, just because I am going to explain to you guys. In my previous video, I asked if you guys wanted to know how I got into the OR at such a young age, and you guys said yes, you do. So I'm gonna explain how I basically got into the OR at 18 years old. So basically, so how I got into the OR was, it started off my junior year in high school, which I would have been, I don't even remember, like 16? Does that sound right? 16? 16, 17, 17. Yeah, I would have been like 16 years old. Started junior year in high school, I started volunteering at the hospital that I now work at. I sent in my application, and my mom actually works there, as you guys know, and so she actually talked to the volunteer lady when she was turning in my application in, and the lady was just asking questions about me, and next thing I know, I get an email asking when I'm free for an interview. And my mom was telling me that basically what she did was she took my application and put it on top of like all the other applications, and so she's like, I'll look at it. Like, she put it on top of the other applications that she had received, which was really awesome, because it's really hard to get in volunteering into the hospital, just because it's seriously all about connections now, and the only connection I had was my mom. And so luckily she got to talk to the lady about me. And so what happened was I went in to get interviewed. The interview went really good. It was just really casual. We only spent like 2 minutes, actually, her asking me questions about like where I had heard about the volunteering from, why I wanted to do it, and then the rest of the time we kind of just chit-chatted about ourselves and like what we were doing for the breaks, because that was around Thanksgiving, junior year Thanksgiving, and she was going on some kind of trip. But anyways, so I started volunteering. I told her that I wanted to volunteer in the operating room, and she's like, oh, you have to be minimum 18 years old to even volunteer in the operating room. So I was like, oh, okay, well maybe like once I turn 18, there's a possibility of me, you know, switching in my field to volunteer in the operating room. And so I started volunteering in admitting, and basically what I would do is I would sit at the desk, and people would come into the main entrance, and they would come to the desk, and they would ask me, oh, like my dad or my mom or my sister, whatever, you know, are staying here, can you tell me where they're at, like which room they're at? And so I would look them up, they're whoever they're looking for, and like the patient, and I would tell them the room number, and if they had no clue where to go, I would basically direct them where to go. And sometimes even if there was older people or just anyone who wasn't able to walk to the place because it was too far, and you know, their joints and stuff couldn't take it, it hurt to walk, I would wheelchair them to wherever they needed to go, which is really fun because I got to meet a lot of people and hear a lot of their life stories, and that was really awesome. And just, I don't know, I feel like volunteering really made me comfortable and opened my eyes on how to speak to family members and people who were going through a hard time while their loved one is, you know, either going through surgery or staying in ICU, or happy times because their mom or their someone had a baby and they're going to visit the baby. So I think I really learned, like during those 2 years that I was volunteering and admitting, I really learned first time management, because I would actually bring my homework to volunteering, and so when nobody was coming to the front desk, I was doing my homework, or I was reading the assigned pages for that week, or you know, I was managing my time in a way that I was volunteering, I was helping people find where to go, and I was also doing my homework whenever I had the chance to, because I know I wouldn't want to do it later that day when I got home. Oh, and I volunteered on Saturdays. Saturday, like morning-ish to afternoon, and then I switched to afternoon to more evening so that I could sleep in on Saturdays because I never got to sleep in. But so now to the OR part. So I turned 18, and I turned 18, and I emailed my volunteer manager, and I was like, hey, I'm just wondering, putting it out there, is there a OR volunteer position open? And she's like, you know what, that's so funny you emailed me right now, because our OR volunteer actually just had to leave. And so she's like, yeah, come into my office next time you come to volunteer, and we can talk about you transferring. So I ended up transferring, which I was really sad about, because the lady who was always there when I was volunteering, I had grown a really good relationship with her. I mean, we grew a bond together. That sounds really weird, but what I mean by that is, like, we would just talk about our week and catch up on our stories, and she would ask me about, like, who am I talking to, like, boy-wise, and she just wanted to gossip, and, well, not gossip, but she was really good at just giving me advice and just things when I was going through something, and she was also Christian, so she was just, I don't know, I feel like she was just a really good role model for me, especially during my high school years, just because she was so encouraging and always keeping me uplifted, especially if I was feeling stressed about a test. She'd be like, you know what, study today, like, don't even, she'd be like, I got all the people who are coming in, you just, like, focus on your work and study. She honestly was amazing. Like, she is someone that I would want to be my grandma. Like, that's what kind of person she was. So I started volunteering in the OR, and it was going really good. I was doing really good. People were even saying, like, I don't know why they're not hiring you, because you're basically doing what you would be doing, just not everything. And I was like, I don't know, because I started volunteering in the OR like towards the end of my senior year of high school, when I was 18, after I was 18, so in about June. And this was also when school ended, when I graduated high school. And so I was there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I went twice a week just because I love the OR. I still love it. And surgery for me was just such a rush, and it was amazing being that young and being in that kind of atmosphere. You never really see anything like what you see there. So when I was there, I was just mind boggled by everything, and so amazed that I even, like, I felt like I can't even put it to word. I felt honored that they let me just be there. But basically how I got my job, to answer the question, 2 months into volunteering, I was walking down the OR main hallway, and one of the workers comes up to me, and they're like, hey, Jody wants to see you in the office. Jody was the manager at the time. She's not there anymore. But I kind of, like, my eyes got really big, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, what did I do? Like, I'm just a volunteer, you know, like, I didn't do anything. But so I went into Jody's office, and I sat down. She's like, oh, you can close the door. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is serious. So I closed the door, and Jody's like, so we have a job position opening, and I already gave your name to the person that receives all of our applications. Basically, send in your resume, and the job is yours. And she's like, does that sound okay to you? I know. And I was like, yeah, but I am starting, like, college full term. She's like, oh no, it's okay. Basically, just give us your school hours, and we'll put you in whenever you have, like, a break or, like, a free day or whatever. And I was just like, in that moment, in that split moment, I was just like, there's no way that, like, God had something to do with this, because there's no way someone like me, who has never had a job before, got straight into the OR, where, like, that's like my dream to be in there. This job was such a big blessing for two main reasons. A, it was in the OR, so that basically already gave me an in to where I want to be. I got to meet doctors, anesthesiologists, nurses, you know, techs, and knowing all my managers and stuff, I know that I can get a really good recommendation to different colleges for nursing school, and then later on maybe for med school. So we'll see. That's the first one. And then the second one is just the reason that the fact that they follow by my schedule. That's a huge thing, because school comes first before work for me. And so the fact that they can accommodate me with just scheduling me whenever I have free days, not when I have school, is really amazing. And I don't take that for granted at all, because I basically just give them my school hours and then they plug me in on days. And I even say, well, I would prefer to work at this time. Like, I'm available these times, but I would prefer, and they always put me on prefer. And whenever I ask for days off, they always give it to me, no questions asked. So I just thank you, God. Honestly, I can't say that enough, because yeah. But that is how I got my job in the OR. It started from volunteering. So definitely get into volunteering, because you're gonna know people, and it's literally nowadays it's all about connections and who you know. So start volunteering or job shadow someone, just anything to do with getting to know someone in the hospital, because it's going to get you somewhere. I've been working now in the OR for over a year, a little over a year, and it's been really great. I mean, I can't complain about anything, because the OR is ultimately where I want to be back when, you know, when I find my career and what I want to do. So I'm really thankful. But it is time to go to work. So I'm gonna have to say goodbye here, but I will see you guys after work. Ugh. Okay guys, so I am off of work. It is 7:28, and oh my gosh, this day has been so long. So I can't even talk. That's how long this day has been. I honestly just want to go home and sleep, but I still have to go get coffee beans from New Seasons, and I still have to edit my vlog. Oh. Today, I think the reason that I'm so exhausted after today is because there's just always gonna be people at work that don't do their jobs, and it's gonna put more pressure on you, and you're gonna feel like you have no time and no support to do the work. But little do you know, people are watching and people do see things. And today that happened. They told, like, one of the managers told me, like, I see what's going on, and those people will be accounted for and they will be talked to. So even when you feel like you're working so hard and there are people who don't, it'll come back, it'll get back to them, because it's not fair. It isn't fair. And doing your job the way that you're supposed to do it versus someone who slacks off and lets you do all the work, that's not okay. And it shouldn't be happening. And even if you're not going to tell someone about it, people do see and people do notice what's going on. So don't feel like you're alone in it, because people are noticing how hard you work versus the person slacking off. They for sure notice. They will notice. Enough of my rant. Let's just get this day done and over with. The lighting is so bad, but I just wanted to say I just got out of New Seasons, and I got 2 of the coffee beans that I like just because they were on sale. And I also got my mom bread because I called her and asked if she needed anything, and she wanted bread. So I got bread. And I got myself a wok bowl. And I'm really excited to eat it because I'm really hungry, and it just sounds so good. Yum. I wish you guys could smell it. It smells amazing. I'm just in the parking lot and I'm gonna eat it because I don't want it to get cold and then I can't fully enjoy it. Oh my god. Wow, whoever cooked this did really good. Like, the sauces aren't watery or anything. They're like thick and so good.